welcome to this video. If you're new to the channel, I'm Esther. I live in a tiny house with Phoebe, my pet bunny, and today I have another sewing video for you. So, a while back, I was watching a lot of other YouTubers sewing things, and I was also, because that's the thing I do when I feel uncomfortable, is looking at a lot of clothes that are out of my price range and perhaps not as sustainable as I would like them to be. And then I made a connection like, oh, I could probably sew that. I could try. And this dress is one of the first that made me think so. But I ordered this beautiful fabric from a company that sells dead stock fabrics, and I got terrified because I want this to be perfect and nice and beautiful. The fabric I'm talking about is this. It's beautiful mint green linen. Linen is definitely one of my most favorite fabrics because it's, I don't know, it's stunning. And the dress I'm talking about is this dress. Well, first of all, it was also, I think this was a sustainable brand. Is a sustainable brand, I'm not certain, but the dress we're talking about is out of stock and also very much out of my price range, because a lot of sustainable companies sell them very expensive, which is completely rightfully so, because, you know, in the production process, if you want to do it right, it does cost a bit more than your average fast fashion brand. So I'm completely fine with that. It's more expensive, but you know, that doesn't change the fact that I do not have money for that. Yeah, so, and the reason I love this dress is like, it's a witchy dress, and if you know me, I used to be very much obsessed with witches. Anything with a witch in it, I would love, and yeah, it would be my favorite thing. I always wanted to be a witch when I grew up. I failed that, but yes, it was definitely a dream of mine. I remember making so many broomsticks and trying so many different things to fly. The reason that there were so many broomsticks is because my dad constantly saw them as garden garbage, you know, so it ended up in trash. Well, that's what he said, that he didn't realize that it was a broomstick. Although in my memory it was pretty much very clear to be a broomstick, and I got better and better at it, so there might be another reason. Perhaps he was afraid that I would eventually fly on the broomstick, and it's very understandably so that he didn't want his daughter to do so, because it's quite dangerous. You're just sitting on a stick and with every potential to fall down from great heights. So it's understandably that he didn't want me to learn. At least that is what I choose to believe, that I could have flown a broomstick. I don't know why I would want that. I don't even like riding cars because I'm terrified of, I don't know, me screwing up. And a broomstick is that more dangerous? Well, you can't really run into things much, except birds and planes. But it's not as full of traffic as the roads. Who's to say what's more dangerous? I don't know, I'm being weird and I don't know if it makes sense. But yes, I loved witches. Obviously, you've seen the fabric. It's not going to be black or grey. It's going to be quite different, because I grew over my phase of wanting everything to be black, and now everything is basically full of colour. Including my house, you know, pink wall, yellow couch. If you don't know my house, I could link my tour of my house. It's not a very big tour because my house is not very big. Like I said, it's a tiny house. Anyway, onto the project. So there isn't really a complete pattern to use, and I'm also not very comfortable making my own patterns. However, I got 3 patterns and I intend to mesh them together. Patterns I'm talking about are these 3. You have the base, which is this dress, and then this blouse pattern to get the neckline right, I can have actually a collar, because obviously the dress pattern does not have that. I got this bag full of vintage sleeves, which I completely forgotten about that I even ordered it, but then it came to the mail and it was like having a present. So I will use the D. I'm not certain if I can manage to do so, but we're gonna try anyway. I will take you along in the process. I planned on first trying it out on different fabric, but I didn't have enough fabric to do so, so... Ow! There's a freaking pin in my clothes. Ow, why? Completely normal. So, yeah, so I want to mesh them together. I will take you along with the process. And I did have other fabric. Phoebe, could you not do that? Right now? Please? Phoebe! 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 Yeah, I think we have to deal with it. So, if you hear nibbling bits, that's Phoebe. But I had different fabric to try it on, but it was not enough, so I'm gonna immediately do it on the right fabric and hopefully not screw up. But I'm not gonna do it here. I'm not gonna start with doing it here, because I'm going to go... Hi. I'm going to go home to my... Well, no, I'm home, but I'm going to go to my parents' home and use their big ass table to make it easier, because my bunny is very cuddly at the moment and very awake at the times I want to sew, which means it's quite problematic when you work with very thin paper. And she's also a thief and she likes to run around with stuff I'm busy with, so it's gonna be nice to have like a great big flat surface to work on and to do this precisely. And she has a sewing machine, so I can use that. And yeah, so we are gonna have a little bit of a different surrounding sewing this project. So that's the plan. Let's get packing then, right? A little update on how things are going. First of all, the procrastination of this project is real. I think it's part B. You know, I'm not built for this weather. I'm exhausted now, and also I fear of screwing this project up. So yeah, but got one step further, as you probably have seen just before. I now also have cut the patterns out, but I wanted to speak about the patterns because I made a few alterations. I will start with the base. So for the base I used the dress pattern, but that's not the only pattern I used for it, because I wanted to have a collar. I used a blouse, and that blouse I also put on this base pattern for the neckline so that it would be easier to fit one in, and also that had a very low neck, the original dress, so that was not possible. And then for the sleeves, in the sleeve pattern packet, in the sleeve pattern, hi Phoebe, sleeve pattern packet. There was also a little top that you could use as a guideline, so I used that for the armholes, so that hey, don't chew on things, please. Yeah, so those 3 patterns I made into, well, one giant pattern, but well, some patterns had a seam allowance built in and some didn't, and then I just basically also did half of it, so I hope everything will fit correctly. And yeah, so one pattern, 3 patterns made into one, and then the sleeve pattern, which I made a slight alteration of, because the original pattern would have like a really big whole loop thing in the arm, and I didn't want that, and it was very easy to fix. I think I haven't made it, so it could be all terrible, but there was this corner missing, so I just drew that corner back in, and that's what I did for the sleeve. And I also changed up the collar so it would be a little bigger, but I don't think it is the same on both sides, and it could be a complete horrific mistake. And what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna make darts in the dress. I believe that's the only place that has darts, so I will do that, and then I will pin it together and hope that it will fit, because the dress was also a couple sizes too big, I believe, so I hope it won't be too bad, and then also know how much I have to cut off if I try it on with pinning first. And for the actual sewing, I'm gonna try something new. I'm gonna do the French stitch, which basically, instead of putting the right sides on top of each other and you sew along the edge, I'm gonna first put the wrong sides on top of each other and then use half the sewing allowance to sew together, and then I will fold it back, right sides on top of each other, and then we'll sew the remaining sew allowance, so that it will be a very neat and professional looking dress, because I want this dress to be amazing. So yeah, that's the plan for today. See you back soon. I'm starting to believe there's, I don't know, a curse on this project. Here's the thing. I was, making the darts. Like, I don't need to film that. I will just do that quickly. The sewing machine struggled. Turns out I just need to redo the thread because it wasn't quite right into the machine. And yeah. And then I was like, okay, now the next step is to try it on, because I know it's going to be a little big. So, setting everything up, picking up my camera, turning it on, the battery, almost dead. Like, it was not going to film anything anymore. I was like, where is my spare battery? And then it hit me like, shit, it's at my parents' place. And I don't live really close to my parents. It's, at least 200 kilometers, and I do not have a car, so, and also, why would I drive that far just for a battery? But yeah, and also my charger is there too. So like, so I was calling my mom, like, is it true? Like, yeah, I'll check. Yes, it is here. So like, oh, crap. Now what? What am I gonna do with my day now? Am I gonna continue to sew? No, I'm not gonna continue to sew. Then my mom was like, yeah, you said your house was kind of disgusting and messy. Yeah, well, you can do that now. But to the true procrastinator that I am, yeah, I haven't done it yet. So I just tried on the dress. And it was not just a little too big, it was gigantic. So now I have to figure out a way to fix it, but I can't fix it now because I kind of want to film the process. So I have to wait. My mom is going to send it my way tonight, so hopefully it'll be here tomorrow. Remember when I said that I altered my sleeve by adding another corner? Well, this is me cutting it off again because, yeah, it didn't serve any purpose, just made it harder. So I cut it off, and then it was time to add the, well, in this occasion, the tie, which is also the band underneath the sleeve. You sew that, and then you sew the ends when folding it, only the ends, and then later on you fold it inwards after you cut off the corners, and then you have a tie. You do need to sew it in place, but yeah, you have a tie. And what's next? Oh yeah, next of course is putting the sleeve in the dress, and that's always kind of a difficult part since I've messed it up pretty often, I believe. You know, putting the wrong side in, which means you have like a seam, that you have like the inside of the seam on the outside, which just makes it all look messy, and it's also not the way it's supposed to be. Which is why I didn't use the French seam for putting in the sleeves, because it was already hard enough by itself. Yeah. But I managed. In the end, it turned out not to be exactly in place, but when wearing, I don't think you notice. So it's gonna be like that forever now. So the original dress had these fabric buttons. So what I did was getting 2 boxes of 4 of these sets to make them yourself in the matching fabric of, well, your dress in this case. All you need to do is just, well, I first wetted the circle, and then, well, I think you can pretty much see what I'm doing here. It's pretty easy, pretty simple, a little bit violent, because they say you can push it through yourself, but my fingers did not have the strength, so I just hammered it in, which was fun. And then it was time to figure out the placement of the buttons, you know, how far they need to be apart. But my bunny wanted to have a cuddle, so I gave her that. So I did it. I did it. I made the dress. I'm so proud of myself. It's not perfect because their boobies are quite pointy, which was obviously not the plan, but I might fix that once I figure out how to fix that. If you have any tips, leave them in the comments. But yeah, it's finished, and so I want to talk about the buttons. So I made the buttons, and then I had a little bit of a fight with my sewing machine, since that one works different than the sewing machine of my mum that I used to use. Yeah, so that was a little bit of a trouble, but I managed to make them, so that's great. I do actually need to sew in one button here on the top, because the inside is not very neat. I will show you. Can you see? But I don't have any of the fabric buttons to go there, so I think I will just like a press button. I have some laying around, so I will do that. For the video I was kind of done sewing this, so I didn't, I just pinned it in place with a little bobby pin, not a bobby pin, a little pin, so but yeah, that's the only thing I need to do. I'm very proud of it. I'm especially proud how this looks, these inside. I didn't do them sleeves because sleeves are not very my forte. I'm still, you know, it's yeah, I was like, let's not make it more difficult than it already is. I also noticed when I was saw on the hanger that it's not perfectly lined up, the sleeves, so it's not a perfect dress, but I think it's the best thing I ever made, and I really, really love it. I'm obsessed with it, so yeah, I'm very proud of myself. Oh yeah, and for next week I have quite a lot of fabric left from this dress, so next week I will be making something out of that. So see you next week, I think. Hello, good morning, welcome to my channel. If you're new, I'm Esther, I live in a car. No, I don't live in a car. I don't. There is a car. Hello. Hi, good morning. Phoebe, not now. Phoebe, not in the bathroom. Okay, that was weird.